I keep God first. I see evil, when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
Go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Son of God, no, I am not son of man. Blessings keep falling, the fingers keep coming in. I got you, but just know I'm texting like Uncle Sam. Left to the bank, you know that I'm coming in. We don't do it for the bands though, we don't do it for the clout. Legacy on the line, so I'm moving in and out. Seen good ones turn top dog, greedy ones get knocked off. I keep looking at the bench like I could never not ball. Coach keep me in the game, Curry deadly with the range. I keep looking in the mirror like, who is he? I'm insane. Who am I? He insane. Guess I am the one to blame. What's done is done, won't change. Time to live up to my name. Real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping, no, I won't fall. No sleeping, no, I won't it out. I keep God first. I see evil, when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
Go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Told my baby, meet me at the bank. Told my mama, I'ma break the trend. Locked in, I'ma change the weight. Working for my baby's kids. Hard times couldn't make the rent. Working hard, couldn't save a cent. Lonely nights, just me and God. Swear to him, always made the ends. Grab a paper, see the news. Hate coming by the tools. Walk a mile in my shoes. Something you could never do. Got my back against the wall. Bet I always pull through. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Sending shots, I block 'em. Superman with the moves. Rock 'em, sock 'em, drop, pop 'em. Play to win, never lose. Run it up, I top 'em. Play full belly too. I hip hop or pop 'em. Anything I could do. The real won't be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I made for a while. No sleeping, no, I won't fall. No sleeping, no, I won't it out. I keep God first. I see evil, when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
Go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off.
Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. Good to see you. We also have some new faces here in the community from those who are joining the Darren courses this week. Darren Mostyn is having an online course that I've paid for, learning a few things, and super excited about being a part of it and meeting some new people. So I don't know if Miguel's going to be joining us. He said he was going to try and make it, so hopefully he's here today. But Ollie, good to see you there as well. We had about 3 or 4 Nightlight community members in Darren's course, which was super cool to see. So in that light, I want to talk about a few things. One of the things that you'll hear me say time and time again on this channel is there is no one way to do something. There's just the way that works for you. And I'm one of those people that, whether you agree or disagree, I don't see color grading as a religion. And what I mean by that is that, the typical religion, right, will say, okay, well, we're the one and only true path, and all other religions aren't as good as ours, or it's the whole religious debate, right? And so I don't ever look at color grading as a religion. I look at it as art, right? So let me give you an example of what I mean. So Melissa and I will go to a museum, right? And I'll be looking at a painting that's hanging on the wall, an art piece, and I will absolutely love it. And I'll think it's the best thing I've ever seen. But Mel could be standing there right next to me and think, you know what, this is total rubbish. This is total garbage. I would never hang this in my house. And that's the thing that I love about art, is it is so subjective, and there's different interpretations of art. And so when I do meet some people who are like, oh, this way is the only way, and it's the best way, I turn that off. And you can agree with me or you can disagree with me, but I turn that noise off. I've God, how long has Mark Todd Osborne been in the worked in the color industry? um over 2 decades, probably even 3 decades now. For those of you who don't know who Mark Todd Osborne is, he's a famous colorist. He's one of only few that will be hired in Hollywood as an individual consultant, not working at a color house. And Mark Todd Osborne, uh, actually just recently, after 30 years, changed his project settings because something Colin Kelly did with his project settings. And I actually ended up mirroring the same project settings that Mark did. Um, and I'll talk about that. I'll go into that. But it's I don't know. There is definitely, I feel like, as many of you know, I'm a former hacker. I came from the cybersecurity industry, and if we're meeting for the first time, hi, I'm Melissa Knight. It's nice to meet you. I run Night Studios. I'm a director, writer, executive producer here. We have about 5 TV series. And after working in cybersecurity for 30 years, for 23 years, one of the things that I really hated about cyber was the arrogance. There was a lot of more elite than thou kind of attitude. And I distanced myself from that, because no matter how long I'm working in something or no, hey, Eric, it's good to see you too. Hey, Ellie Anderson, good to see you. Wow. A lot of familiar faces. But after working in an industry for so long, to me, you have to hang your ego at the door. If you don't do that, you're closing yourself off to learning something new. And I think the people that I feel like I want to be in the company of, the people that I feel have the greatest impact on me in my development and my craft, are the people that hang their ego at the door too, like Mark Todd Osborne, who after 30 years is changing his project settings because of something a YouTuber said. That's the other thing I don't agree with is, I'll see people say, oh, this is being parroted by YouTube color. What does that even mean? Like, oh, a YouTube color? I don't understand why such derogatory comments are being made, because I've seen the most amazing colorists, that I'm inspired by, and things that they'll do, and they're producing YouTube videos. Does that make them a YouTube colorist? I don't know. I've just never been one of those people that just kind of throws other people under the bus and says, my way is the right way or the best way. So this is just my 2 cents to all of you. Learn from as many people as you can. Hang your ego at the door. Learn from everyone. There's a little bit of something you can take from everyone and make it your own. I published my node tree on our insider forums for all of you to download. Tear it apart, hack it, to make it your own. It hopefully gives you a good starting point. But don't have your feelings hurt or feel trampled on if somebody says, well, the way that you're doing, color balancing is wrong. You should be doing it this way. I just stay clear of those people, because that's like walking up to a painter and saying the way you're painting is wrong. What does that mean? What, like, if we both arrive at a beautiful image, if we both arrive at a beautiful deliverable, and we took two different paths to get there, who cares? Who's to say one is right over the other? Anyway, okay, I'll get off my soapbox. I just want all of you to know that, this is a community where I want people to learn and feel it's a collegial environment. And I hope I'm doing a good job at fostering that here. Please let me know if I'm not. And, because that's all that is very important to me. So, all right, we're gonna do some really cool things today. I want to talk to you kind of about what's going on. First and foremost, just a few other updates. Those of you know, Mel and I own a coffee roastery and coffee bean company. So if you have an Amazon account and you're interested, you can go search for Night Coffee on Amazon. Buy a bag. Mel and I are actually going to be launching some Christmas deals, some holiday deals here coming up soon for our coffee. So you can keep an eye out for that. And let's see what else. Mel and I just started decorating for Christmas. So for those of you who have not done so, definitely add me on Instagram. Some of you didn't know I have an Instagram account. It's the best way to DM me. I know YouTube doesn't allow that, so feel free to add me on Instagram. My handle is Alyssa Knight, and we also Night Studios has an Instagram account as well. It's Night Studios LV for those of you who are interested. So, all right. Well, super exciting things going on today. I will be talking about that. We have a new node tree in the house. All right, so let's talk about that. All right. Okay. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Don't key my car, but I had to get China White done. And if I would have waited till the next live stream to continue to finish this, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get it to Sundance in time. So I finished the color grades on China White. Now, here's something that I want to talk about because I think all of you will be super excited to hear this. Oops, sorry. We are actually re-releasing on distribution because of a new relationship that we're creating with Louis Mandalore's company and Mark Klebanoff, and for distribution. And that, so we are actually going through and recolor grading. Yes, the Louis Mandalore from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Super cool guy, good friend of ours. Anyway, so we're going through and recolor grading every TV series that Night Studios has produced. Now, what does this mean for you? It means I'm actually going to be doing that here on this live stream. So now that we're done with China White, I can get this out to Tribeca and Sundance. I'm actually going to now be moving to Puppet Master, and we are going to be starting from the editing. So for those of you who caught these live streams from the very first episode, we started with color grading on China White. In Puppet Master, guess what? We're starting with a blank timeline. So for those of you who have been wanting to figure out, learn my multicam editing process, my workflow for editing multicam and separate individual mixed pretend sound devices audio, I'm going to walk through all of that. So we are going to go from cradle to grave on all of our TV series. So the next will be Puppet Master, and then before that will be Wicked Panda after that. So super excited. I know we're going in reverse order for those of you who've watched the entire season of Dark Ops. But as I mentioned in the recent news announcements, we're actually re-releasing season 1 as a mini series. So even though it got picked up for a new season, I've talked with our co-producers and our new relationships with Louis, and we're actually going to be bringing in celebrities for the new season of Dark Ops. So we're super excited about this. So for those of you who are wondering why we're going through all this re-editing and recolor grading, it's because we're re-releasing it as a mini series. And when we go back to set to film the new season of Dark Ops, it will actually be the new season 1, and we're actually recasting it. Also, some of you have actually reached out. Hey, how you doing, Ezekiel? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. For those of you who have reached out to me asking if we have an intern program, yes, we do. We have partnered with several universities, UNLV, several others in the local Vegas area for our intern program. But if you are not local and you're remote, yes, we will look at interns who want to do remote work. So if you're interested, reach out to me, DM me, email me. Also, if you have not yet signed up for the insider forums at nightstudios.com, we have a forum there where you can also download my latest node tree and other resources we make available. So ask your questions in the chat, put your comments in as we work today, and let's get on with the show. Yes, I'm totally addicted to red vines. I'm a red vines girl. Mel loves Twizzlers, and it's an ongoing religious debate in our house as far as what's better. If any of you are red vines team, give us a thumbs up in the comments. All right. So all right, I guess that's going to be the last bite I take because I realize I can't talk if I'm chewing. All right, so what I'm going to do is, even though I finished the grading on China White, the first few scenes are my old node tree. So what I'm going to do is we're going to actually go through those grades together and readjust them. So I want to talk for a minute about shot deck. All right, so I have talked about this before. Those of you who have never heard of Shot Deck, shotdeck.com is actually a fantastic site for you to get ideas and inspiration for color grading. So let me give you an example with this shot here. So this is a shot in Mexico. This whole show actually takes place in Sinaloa. So if you go all the way, sorry, let me go all the way here for this first shot. You can see, and I should probably mute that, everybody. I apologize. But if you see the first opening scene, you can see that it actually takes place in the Sonora. Let me see. Let me hide this. Oops. I'll go to that in a minute. You can see my here. It's Sinaloa. So for those of you who are new, I see some new faces in the chat. We are China White is about how this behavioral analysis unit within the FBI, these criminal profilers, are actually taking on a drug cartel in Mexico, and one of the biggest cities is where a lot of the cartels are based out of is Sinaloa. And so what we're going to do is this opening scene right here is just this, abandoned, shack in Mexico. So I was thinking, hey, look, it would be really interesting to get some ideas off of Shot Deck. So I want to show all of you how I leverage Shot Deck to do that. So let me make sure that I'm sharing my screen. If there's any problems with the video or audio or screen sharing, everyone, please let me know in the comments. Mel is monitoring the chat, even though I can't. So, all right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to Browse Shots. and you can set these different filters. So I can go in here, and I know that, obviously this is a very yellow image, so I can go in here and I can look for anything that's a yellow image. So I can filter it by that. Sorry, my microphone's in the way. I can go into interior, exterior, and I can say, okay, this is clearly an exterior shot. Time of day is day. And now that I have those filters set, I can just type in Mexico. And here I'm getting all of these shots from actual released movies of that are yellow, that take place outside in Mexico. Now, if you saw the opening shot that I referenced all of you, you'll see that that opening shot was actually a restaurant. It was actually had a lot of the same colors that I had. So I just typed in restaurant. So you can see my filters here: color yellow, exterior, time of day, day, Mexico, and restaurant. And we see a shot here that's actually very similar to ours, right? It's a yellow building with red letters. And we've got, even though, we don't have, what is that, a Cadillac or something? We have a pickup truck. That's okay, right? It still gives us an idea of how we can possibly grade our shot, right? So we've got this sort of, color wheel thing strip here. Now, clearly you've got some kind of, they're using, it looks like maybe a power window to kind of darken from the top down. So we could do that, right? And I promise I will go over my new color tree. But I can go here in the top, and I can just, start bringing down either, we saw that in the class today, but I can bring down the gamma, right? Kind of see that? A similar thing. Or I can go in here, and instead of adjusting the gamma, I can go to our HDR wheels, which are color space aware, and I can just start bringing down that exposure. See, and we get kind of the same sort of effect. Now, obviously, I'm not going to jump straight into power windows before I've gone through adjusting my luma, my balance, my contrast, but I'm just kind of giving all of you an idea of how we can use Shot Deck to kind of drive or give us inspiration for our grade, right? Because sometimes, plagiarism is the best form of flattery, right? So, that's why you have like Behance, where you can get inspiration ideas for a new project you're working on. Shot Deck is a great place to either create a shot list before you go out on production. We use it in lieu of creating storyboards, right? I'm not a cartoonist. I can't hand draw, right? I'm not an artist in that regard. So I'll use Shot Deck to create a shot deck to create a shot deck, and bring that to set and sit down with my DP, which is Mel, and go over these shots before we actually start shooting. So we can definitely use this now. For those of you who have not done this before, I can actually go here, I can click on this, and I can save this as an image. I can import it as a shot into DaVinci Resolve, and I can even color grade side by side, and figure out, okay, what are the differences between my shot and this shot side by side is a still. And I did that in the last video. You guys and girls have seen me do that in our previous live stream. But you have a shot here and a shot here, and we can compare the waveforms, the histogram, and the vector scopes, and try and match that shot for shot, right? But I just wanted to show all of you, I don't know how helpful this was, but I wanted to show all of you how we can take this image right here to really kind of inspire us on the color grading for this. But let me walk through, since some of you are familiar with the previous version of my node tree, I'm going to walk you through this new version 2.2. I think the previous one I released was 2.1. This is 2.2. So I'll upload this to the forum for those of you who want to download it. So the first thing that I do, first and foremost, and I'll get to my groups here in a moment, but the first thing I do at the clip level is I adjust my loom. So if there's anything outside of the pre-group, right? So first I guess let's do this. Let me start in order on groups, because so many of you reached out, told me you love groups. Some of you didn't even know you could use groups. So let's talk about it. So the first thing that I do when I create my groups is, first and foremost, I have a still shot that I created for my pre-group. So as soon as I create a new group, I will right click and apply grade, and it will copy all of my nodes to the pre-group, right? So the first thing I'll do is I'll reduce my noise, right? If there's, and I will tell you, while I love our Arri Alexa Mini LF, there's just a lot of noise with that camera as compared to the Red V Raptor. So there are several shots where I have to do a lot of noise reduction. So I'll reduce noise first. You typically want to do that as far left as possible, right? So think of the pipeline as like this red vine, right? So it's gonna basically do everything in order from left to right. So if the very first thing that it sees is noise reduction, and then your input data transform, Luma, and then balance, it's gonna do that in order. So it's very similar to, for those of you who come from the IT world, it's very similar to FIFO, first in, first out. So first thing it's gonna hit is the noise reduction. Then we're gonna do an input data transform, where we're going to do a transform. However, I work in a color managed workspace. You saw Darren talk about this today. So I'll quickly show you my project settings. So I do work in color managed. My color processing mode is custom. So I can set my input color space and my timeline color space to DaVinci wide gamut intermediate. And then I set my working luminance to 4000, and then my output color space of Rec 709. All right. So that's my project settings. So I rarely will use IDT because I'm in color managed mode. The only time I'll use IDT is if for any reason DaVinci Resolve can't detect what the raw file is. I've seen this typically happen with our DJI footage. I want to say that either the Ronin 4D, I think it's the Ronin 4D that it has trouble identifying. So I'll use the IDT and you'll see it. Actually, let me pull it up here. I think it's, Mel, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the outdoor scene of Paul's house when Adrian, oh, actually, this is it. Here's a good example. All right. So here, isn't it? It's not so. Oh my God. DaVinci's acting up. Hold on 1 second. Let me try using my panel. No connection, DaVinci. All right, everyone, I'm going to exit DaVinci. Sorry. DaVinci Resolve just died. All right, let's check the chat. How's everyone doing? By the way, quality of screen sharing this time is again top. Awesome. Thank you, you. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I think even though it supports multiple camera sources, for some reason, it really degrades the quality of the live stream when I put my scopes on a separate camera. So whenever all of you want to see my scopes, just let me know and I'll throw my scopes up there. All right, let's start up DaVinci Resolve again. You know what? I should make a habit of stopping, quitting DaVinci Resolve and reopening it before this live stream, just in case. Because we all know how stable DaVinci Resolve is. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but my computer really, really slows down for some reason when I start streaming. All right. Let's go to Lightbox. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it is a game changer. So definitely use your light box. It's really easy to quickly glance at all of your shots on shot matching and just finding a particular frame. So let me jump to where that input data transform is so all of you can see that. All right. So here, if we go to the pre-group and look at IDT, oh, did we not? Oh, let me see. Hold on. I thought that was it. Maybe not. I think we only used the DJI Ronin 4D here. Yeah, it was this shot. Here it is. All right. So yeah. So for some reason, I don't know why, but DaVinci Resolve can't identify Ronin 4D footage. So input color space, DJI D-Gamut, input DJI D-Log, and then Rec 709, and then Rec 709A. Okay. So this 709A, we had a discussion about this. There was a discussion thread in Darren's class about this. This is for Mac users. So just a heads up on the output for Rec 709A if you're on a Mac. All right. So anyway, let's go back to it. So yeah, so the first thing I do on the pre-group is I will go through, set the IDT input data transform, then I'll adjust the loom. And for my groupings, for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm also a screenwriter, so I actually label all of my groups according to nomenclature you would find in a screenplay. So INT for interior, EXT for exterior, and then the location, and then a specific area of that location. So exterior house, interior house dining, interior house office. Now, one of the things that you will notice is I will actually create two different, even though something is shot as part of the same scene, doesn't necessarily mean I'll make it part of the same group. So every different camera angle in a scene might have different lighting conditions. My preference is to group clips based on lighting conditions. So even though these two shots are, you know, part of the same scene, they may be in two completely different groups because of different lighting. So once I adjust the luma or luminance, or basically the exposure, and I'll typically use the HDR wheels for my exposure, okay, because again, they're color space aware. I'll then go into the balance node. Wow, my computer is really acting up today. Or DaVinci is really acting up. Okay, so after I go into the balance node, what I'll do is we'll look at the clips now. And this is my new node tree at the clip level. So now here's the thing. You're probably wondering, hey, Alyssa, why do you have a node for Luma on your clip node when you have a Luma clip node on your pre-group? It's because what I'll do is for a particular scene in a specific group, I'll find the hero shot. So depending on the hero shot and which clip I select, that may not necessarily be the same exposure, the same luminance for all of the clips in the group. So you want to be able to have a separate Luma node to be able to selectively adjust the luminance on a particular clip that might be part of the group's pre, right? So in the pre-group of this group, maybe the Luma isn't enough for this particular clip. So I can then, bring up the Luma. I can push the Luma up on that particular clip and not affect every clip in the group by doing it in the pre-group. So remember, any adjustments in the pre-group will affect every clip in the group. Anything at the clip level will only affect that clip, and anything in the post-group will affect every clip in the group. Okay. So after that, I'll then do color balancing. I'll balance my shot. And now there are different ways that you can do color balancing. All right. You can use this. All right. You can find basically the widest white in the shot and use this to color balance the shot. Right. Did you see all of that, everybody? That difference there? All right. So you can use that. One other way is first you select your blackest black. Let me reset this node. So you can take your blackest black and then your whitest white, right? And then I guess you would then adjust your exposure from there, right? Or you could just take a look at your scopes and simply just, here, you know what? Let me do this. I think I did this in the last stream. I put no omniscope to the right like that. Okay. So I know it's still kind of hard to see. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm trying. Let's try that. Hopefully that works for all of you. So now I can look at my scopes and I can go here, right, in my primaries wheels, and I can just kind of do it that way and get that all centered up. But again, you know, there's just so many different ways to do color balancing, right? Now, what I love about Nob Omniscope is you can just focus in on a certain area and it will show you what part of the image that is affected by that particular scope, right? So here you can see that because those are our highs, you can see everything that's being affected by it. Same with the lows and same with the mids, right? Lift, gamma, gain. Lift, gamma, gain. Lows, mids, highs. Okay. So, you know, I mean, there's just, again, there's no wrong or right way to do something. It's completely up to you. You know, as long as it's balanced, as long as your whites look white and as long as your blacks look black, there shouldn't be anything wrong with your image. And how you went about getting there is completely up to you. Now, with contrast, I'll typically use the contrast slider in the HDR wheels. Okay, so we can bring some contrast into there. Right. And again, just kind of monitoring your scope so you're not crushing your blacks. We don't want to lose any information. And then with, this is a new one from Darren's class today. Actually, I was really intrigued by this HSV set. So I have now created a dedicated node for HSV saturation. So if you right click here, you can see that the color space I'm in is HSV, and channels, if you disable channels 1 and 3, you will only affect the saturation, right? Nope. Someone's at our door. Sorry, everyone. Color space. Oops. What happened there? I thought I said that already. Maybe I didn't. Okay. So yeah, if you adjust that, then you can see I'm only affecting the saturation. So HSV set, super cool. Super cool. And I think I actually screwed that up. Let me change that back. And you can see we're only affecting saturation. Now, if I don't want to use HSV sat, right? Let's say that I don't want to use that. Let's say I want to use DCTLs. We talked about this in our previous class, right? Is DCTLs. So we can affect the saturation of just the yellow using our DCTLs. And then let's say I wanted to bring up the saturation in the red, I can do that as well. Okay. Now, one of the things that you'll notice if you look at my spotlight, right, I can also limit, oh, sorry. If you go to my DCTL and look at the power windows, you can see I only have a box around the restaurant. Now, why would I do that? It's because there's yellows and reds out here in these hills as well. Okay. Now, one of the things that we want to do, and this is very important to your responsibility as a colorist, is making sure that you bring the attention of the viewer to where you want the viewer's attention to be. So here, there, there's quite a lot of distractions out here. There's a lot of, just I like to call it chaos, just a lot of chaos out here. So if we want to focus the attention of our viewer on this restaurant, on this little abandoned restaurant here, we can do that. And we can use our exposure, our global exposure to do that. Again, a little goes a long way in color grading. You don't have to overdo it, right? And what I can do here is I like to kind of bring in some grittiness and dirt whenever there's dirt on a scene. And you'll see that in the sort of Breaking Bad shot over here. You can see I added some grit and a lot of detail there and shading. And so why don't we do that here? So I can go here and see that we brought that spotlight in, focus the attention of the viewer on that restaurant. And then I can go here into the bottom and I can I can do this using gamma. And I can also use exposure. Again, multiple ways to do things in DaVinci. And I can also bring up the detail, right? Look at that. See how gritty that got versus flat? We're bringing in a lot of the detail in that dirt. And then look at that. Ooh, look how buttery that looks. How great is that? Look, we've got all this detail. We've got some shading here. It's a lot moodier, right? Loving it. All right. So I feel that's pretty good. So we can move on to this one. All right. So let's go back and let me see. Let me go back to, we want our gallery. Let's go to Night Studios. And then we can apply our new clip tree, our new node tree. A lot of these shots, the first half of the shots in China White were my old node tree. So again, I just want to replace it. All right. So do we need to do anything here with Luma? Yeah. We could if we want. You can look at your IRE here. If you feel like anything's just too dark and you want to bring it up, we can do that. So I can go here to the HDR wheels. I can, kind of push up my exposure. And again, if you've never been to Mexico and you have no idea, you want some inspiration for what, an afternoon in Mexico looks like. Again, we can go back to Shot Deck and get some ideas of some exterior images. And this kind of looks like, I don't know, mid to late day in this shot, right? So, we can come over here and we can get ideas of kind of a similar image in Mexico at this time of day. Right? This one, clearly a lot of some very warm image from Breaking Bad. Here's another very, all the images are quite warm. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, Alyssa, how would we make this more warm? Well, we can, push in some reds, obviously. If we wanted to, we can go into the highlights. And, in gain, maybe here, let me add. I'll just do that on a separate node just to show you. Or gain, maybe we can add some reds, right? That's one way to do it. Or we can come in here and go into temp and warm it up with temp. Okay, that's another way to do it. Sorry, everyone. I'll start using the full view mode to show you differences. But, you can see here, you see the difference between this image and that image. we're evoking you know, a certain emotion by bringing in that warmer temp. You know, I don't think that's that bad. I kind of like that. Kind of like that. You know, we can bring in a more of a warm temp. This is definitely more cool. So if we wanted to, maybe, hey, I don't know what all of you think about this, but maybe I should add like a a temp and tint node to my node tree for temp and tint. What do you think? Oh. So we can, you know, get rid of that. Then we can redraw these lines to come out from here. Okay. Temp. And then we can go ahead and just adjust this temp and make this just a little bit warmer. Right? That difference? It's warmer. That actually looks pretty good. I kind of like that. I don't know what you guys think, but I like that. Okay. So, yeah. So let's see. Temp, tints. We should redraw these lines. We want that to go to the mixer. Remember to shot match, everyone. Remember to shot match. You don't want to disengage your audience from the story by having shot match issues. So here it's probably, we probably pushed that a little too hard. Maybe something more like that. Okay. And what I'm doing when you take, for example, this shot and this shot, even though they look like they were taken on completely different streets, I can take these hills, right? And I can kind of match that up with those. And let's say, for example, you know, I want to actually look at them on the same screen. I can actually do that. Let me remove gallery. I can do that by highlighting both clips and then just going up here and saying split screen, selected clips, right? And you can see now that there's a really good balance or match between these hills and those hills. If I want to, maybe I could bring that up a little bit more. Maybe just a smidge. Right? You know, don't go too much. But I feel that looks good. And if you know, if you don't trust your eyes, again, you can always bring in your scopes and look at both as well. Right? So here, you know, it looks like that one on the left has definitely got more reds in it. Greens and blues. So I mean, you know, again, it's completely up to you. You can come in here and did all of you see that? Did you see how depending on what I click on, it changes the line, the outline? It tells you kind of what's what. So here I can come in here, maybe in my gains I can bring down just my reds, right? And then my greens. Oops, wrong one. Having fun here, aren't I? And then maybe my blues. Oh, hold on. Let's try that again. What note am I on? I'm on 10. Oh. I guess I should be doing this on the, hold on one second. Bring that temp tint back. And I should be doing this on the balance node, actually. As you can see, it's adjusting more, you know, as you make changes in one color, it's going to adjust the other colors, right? Now there's definitely more sky in this, so you know, you don't want to try and match up your bars exactly. But yeah, it's basically a push and pull, try and get everything about where it's at. You can also right click here, right? You can go here, right click and say shot match to this clip. And it attempts to do that as well. And then we can go in here, for example, into our Luma and bring that Luma up because clearly it needs some Luma. Right. So I don't know. I mean, there's, like I said, there's multiple ways to do stuff. Reset this. Come in here. Grab that. Looking at my scopes. Maybe bring in a little bit more contrast. Jeez, I hate not being full screen. Okay. Sorry, everybody. I'm moving my scopes. Don't kill me. All right. Cool. All right. Yeah. So we're probably spending way too much time on that image. Okay. So just moving on. We've got let's see. So we adjusted the Luma. Let's go ahead and get the balance down. About 204. That's the other thing is we were trying to shot balance that before we had actually balanced. I'm sorry, shot match it before we balanced this. So that helps out a lot. Bring some contrast in. You can definitely overdo it on contrast, so be super careful with contrast. And then our HSV set. Make sure that this is right. Yep, HSV and then channels. Yeah, cool. So again, we can, you know, go in here and offset and adjust the saturation this way. I don't know. I've been like on the DCTL bandwagon lately, so I think I might actually just use DCTLs on this. Bring up the reds. Maybe bring up the yellows and that yellow. Look at that yellow pop. Looks great. Let's also add. Man, I'm starting to sound like Bob Ross. I swear to God, people are gonna start calling me the Bob Ross, the female Bob Ross of color grading. Okay. What was I doing? I was gonna do a power window. Just kind of, you know, I don't want to again bring too much into that. Those hills. I just kind of want the viewer's attention over here. Now, if I wanted to, I could even bring in a square because I want to get the rest of this yellow up here. Feather that out. I agree with Darren on that. I definitely don't want sharp lines. I want to feather as much as I can. All right. What do you guys think? Looks good, guys and girls, right? Looks good. We're pretty good here. I have a tendency to spend way too much time on a certain one clip. It's not good. All right. So now we're in the actual footage here, not B-roll, and we can go ahead and copy over our tree. Play grade. Let me rearrange this. The workspace got all screwed up. All right, let me check chat. How's everyone doing? Alex, good to see you. Willie in the house. Awesome. Ollie, always good to see you, man. Ontario, no way. We got Ontario in the house. How you doing? Awesome. Cool. All right. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the ambient music, getting some color grading done. Let's get these node trees replaced here. All right. I kind of want to you know what? I want to make that change real fast. Let me just really quickly make that change. So all right. I want this. Let me see. All right. I want that. HSV sat. Let me just make sure this is correct. So that's HSV channels too. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with this. All right, so let's handle the Luma. I think the Luma looks good. Just so all of you can see my false color. Luma looks good. For those of you who aren't familiar with false color, it just helps with properly exposing your shot. Don't get me started on the 70 IRE thing. Inside joke for those of you who are in Darren's class. All right. Okay. So Luma, good. We're fine. I can go in here and just quickly balance. Very good. Let me just check. I know why I did that. All right. It feels a little magenta, right, everybody? Feels a little magenta in our whites. And you can see that right here in our highs. You see how it's magenta bias. It's leaning more towards magenta. So let's fix that. So we can fix that just simply with our offset and bringing that down. Probably too much. A little more. It was a little too green. It looks good, right, everybody? Feel good about that. Kind of in the center there. We bring our reds down just a little. Maybe our blues down a little. There we go. There was a little too much blue there. Did all of you see that? It was like we had like a tail there coming out there towards blue. If you know, I'm trying to use these. All of you know I have a mini panel, but you can't see that, so I'm trying to use these wheels as much as possible. If you want more finite changes, you can do that, or you can switch to the bars. Whatever floats your boat. I won't ever tell you one way is the right way or wrong way. All right. So, yeah, this feels good. This feels good. I feel like those those whites are whites. Blacks are blacks. All right, so let's go in on our contrast. Do any of you think we need contrast? Maybe introduce a little bit of contrast. Not a lot. Let's bring in a little. All right, and then HSV sat. You know, we could do a global sort of saturation boost. Whoop. We obviously don't want to do that. We could do a little bit of a boost on sat, or we can just oops. I don't know why I always do that. I always do reset node grid and I lose all my specific settings. Or we can go in on DCTL and we could do it there. And we'll bring up the like what do you all think, you know, we would want to bring up on the set? Maybe the green? Maybe give the green a little bit more life? What do you all think? Maybe come in with a little bit of sat on the green? Isn't much, but bring in a little bit of yellow. I don't know what you all think. The thing is that is if we boost the yellow set, we're gonna make that, we're gonna obviously bring that into the camper and make it a little bit more dingy and yellow, which might not be I mean, that's not necessarily wrong. Nothing wrong with that. Again, it's really about, you know, what the director or DP want, or you know, in case that you're both the director and the colorist, maybe, you know, whatever you want, you know. It really just doesn't matter. All right, got a question. Can we see false colors on DaVinci? Yes you can actually. Good question, Alex. Let me show you how to do that. So if you want, you come all the way here and let's see. Add node director. Just gonna bring that in right here. I can call this false. And then you would grab it over, drop it over. Change of color. Okay. And here you know, you pick specific camera model. But I mean, it's you know, it's one of those things. Right now, if you're interested in buying no Omniscope, which is what I'm using, its false color is amazing. Matter of fact, scope, false color. I use the false color here, and the preset that I use is the Flanders Scientific. So you can see here, you know, want to be typically in this range right here. Never obviously want to be here, and never really want to see this. But yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. I don't care for the false color very much in this, but it's up to you. I swear by no Omniscope though. I absolutely love it. I love how you can break the vector scope up into low, mids, highs. You know, holding down the option key, you can get an overlay of your image to see how the scope is affecting the image. So it kind of teaches you how to use scopes at the same time, Alex, which I really love about it. Good question. But yeah, you can add false color if you want. It's built into DaVinci. All right. Where was I? Okay, HSV sat, DCTLs. So yeah, so I mean, it's, you know, it's completely up to us, or you know, whoever's the creative direction on the show, your showrunner, your director, on what they want. I mean, I'm okay with introducing a little yellow. We don't have to go crazy with it. Okay. What do you all think? You think we should bring in some of this red over here? Should we pump up the red a little? You know, that's okay too. Right? Remember, we wanna bring life, we wanna bring love to our images. Now I can right click on here and I can go to apply grade and easily grab all the changes we just made. Now our balance is definitely off. So you know, again, remember what I told you earlier about how just because two are part of the same scene doesn't mean that um it's got the same exposures and color balance, or that everything, you know, maybe the sun moved, you know, anything could happen. Um, but here you can see there's definitely a difference. Look at the color of the trailer compared to the color of the trailer over here. Look at the whites, right? So we definitely have a white balance, a distinction in white balance. Um, so, oh, I'm sorry. I just selected the two wrong clips. Sorry about that, everyone. You're probably like, Alyssa, what are you doing? So yeah, but still, you can see a distinction in colors, right? Look at the difference in the white balance, in the whites here and the whites there, right? This is not properly white balanced for sure. For sure, that's wrong. So we need to fix that. So let's go to our white balance. You know, something like that. And then we can check our scopes. It's so weird when, you know, you ask some people, how do you balance? Oh, I never use the automatic eyedropper. I never use, as if it's like, you know, the plague or something. Like, oh, I never touch that. Like, dude, calm yourself down. Okay. It's like, it's almost like some people think you're just like telling them they don't know what they're doing if you ask them if they use a particular part of DaVinci. It's the weirdest thing. I'm seeing it. I'm not gonna name drop anybody, but I'm seeing it. It makes no sense to me. It's like, calm yourself down. Jeez. All right. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, like, it's better. It's definitely better, but I definitely want to fix this up a bit more. It feels green, right? It feels like, yeah. You can look at that. You see that? There's like, here, let me move this down. Okay, so I want to maybe bring in a little bit more red. Printer lights. Long live printer lights. All right, so ooh. Oh, perfect, Alyssa. Look at it. Perfect center dot right there in the middle. Not even looking at my scopes. Love it. All right. All right. I'm going full screen on my scopes there. On my iPad. For those of you who are new to the channel, I actually use an iPad. I sidecar my iPad and then I use it for my scopes, and it's probably the most brilliant thing I've ever done. It's saved me so much real estate on my screen and on my desk, because I actually bought an Apple Studio display just for my scopes once, and it just took up too much space and I couldn't justify it just for scopes. So I moved it to my other desk. For those of you who have not seen the tour, we actually have 3 studios in our house. So this is Studio A. We have Studio B out there, which is where I'm working if I'm not color grading and editing. This is our color suite. And then downstairs is Studio C. We need to do a full tour of our house, but that gives you an idea of where things are at. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about this one. It feels a little redder than this, though. Yeah, that's definitely got way more red in it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, let's fix that. By the way, I don't know if any of you knew this, but you can actually highlight two clips and actually grade right alongside it. Okay, some of that. I mean, it's definitely got a different luminosity to it just because of the angle. And here you can see more of the sky. So I'm not going to be able to get a perfectly even waveform. But yeah, as long as we're balanced. Let me see. All right. Okay, we've got some contrast. Probably bring in, I think the DC tails are the same. Yep. So we're still bringing in some of the reds and greens. This same angle, so I can right click and just say apply grade. Right. So these are pretty similar. All right, so now we're inside the drug lab. And clearly, I think we need to bring in some Luma. Oh my God. I swear, I don't know if any of you heard the story on this, but we were ordering all the ingredients for our drug lab. I'm surprised that the FBI didn't show up at our door. So this was our Amazon order. Okay, are you all ready for this? Okay, so these were my Google searches and my Amazon order. So Google searches were ingredients for making fentanyl, like what are fentanyl precursor chemicals, um, uh, how to make heroin, how to make fentanyl. I think I had a Google search for like how to make meth, and then I took all these things and I got pictures of all these ingredients, and I went on Google Images and I said, I Googled pictures of heroin, pictures of meth, pictures of fentanyl, and then I went to Amazon and I just started looking for things that looked like heroin, that looked like fentanyl, that looked like meth, and then as part of my Amazon order, I also ordered fake FBI badges. I ordered fake MP5 assault rifles, fake AR-15s, fake AK-47s, and then I swear to God, I am so shocked that FBI didn't show up at our door. I was just waiting for the knock, because who orders stuff like that? It's just unbelievable. Anyway, no one showed up. It was shocking to me. I really expected people to show up. It was funny. But got to give a shout out to Mel, because she actually got Amazon to take everything back after shooting was done. I don't know how she does that. No, that's pretty well balanced. What do you all think? Should we bring in some contrast? What do you all use? Do you use contrast in your HDR wheels or in your primaries? I like to use the HDR wheels for contrast. I don't know about all of you. Just feels a lot more surgical. And then again, we can adjust HSV set or DCTL. Just really drunk on the DCTL Kool-Aid lately. Bring some red in. What do you all think? Bring some saturation in that red over there. That looks pretty hot. Should we bring in some life on that table? Maybe bring in some of the yellows. Kind of make everything pop. What do you think? Should we bring in some of that blue right there? Is that cyan? Bring in some of that cyan. Look at that. I don't even know what that is. That's a reflection off something. I have no idea what that is. I like this. All right, so let's talk about power windows. Do any of you think we should add any power windows here? Should we spotlight our talent? What would you all do? Let's see what that might look like. Again, if for any reason your power windows don't show up, I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if all of you saw that just now, but even though power windows was selected, they weren't showing. But been experiencing that lately with 18.6. So we can go in here, go to our HDR wheels, bring down our exposure if we wanted to, just kind of bring in some focus on our talent. Then, I don't know. Now, if you want to adjust how bright the inside of your power window is, you would actually use your Luma over here since this is an inversed spotlight. So I don't know if you saw in the power window, but I inverted it. It's an inverted spotlight. So if you put a spotlight around your talent and you darken the outside of them, but you want kind of your talent to pop a little bit more, you would actually go back to your Luma node and you'd come up here and you would use your exposure and bring that up. And that gives them a little bit more pop and zing. A little zing. All right, so let's grab that. We can copy that. And then if you want, we can go over here and just paste it right there on the spotlight. Now, again, if you want, you can copy your Luma from here and then just paste it here. So you've got the same exact Luma settings. Same thing here, boom. Now this might be a little hot. Again, check your scopes. If it feels, if it feels a little hot, bring it down. That's okay. Nothing's permanent in color grading. Just bring it down. Low, 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 low. I know that's an R&B song. I just can't remember what it's called. All right. Yeah. So I mean, if we want, we could do the same thing with our power window here. Draw kind of like, in a show like this, where the question is, where do you want to bring the audience's attention? Maybe you want to bring it to the drugs. Maybe you want to bring it to the knife. Maybe you kind of just want to center it. Maybe you want to just bring the attention to the center. And we can do that. I'm adjusting the exposure right now in that global wheel. Okay, you see that? It's very subtle, but it works. Okay. Same thing here. Okay. Look at my node grade. Balance. That probably needs to. There's probably a little bit too much cyan and blue there. Bring that in. I can check. Let me show all of you this. And we can bring that up. Also, be careful what be careful what whites you choose, right? Like if you want to balance, look at how this part of the white is in a completely different area than that part of the white, right? So just be careful what you choose to balance for, right? So you could say, okay, I want to balance for this white or I want to balance for this white. Now, if you balance for the white in the sink, look at where the sink is at, right? Compared to where where it's at on the talent's uniform, right? So, be careful what you choose to balance for. Um, I'm okay with this being more white, his actual suit, because if you think about it in the previous shots, we white balanced against the suits. It's the most, it's the thing that's in the audience's face the most. It's the brightest. Also, if you look at the sink, I kind of want the sink to be dirty and icky and grimy. So, having a perfectly white sink to me doesn't make much sense because, they're cooking all this heroin in it, right? You got heroin here. I kind of want it to be dirty and yellowish. So it doesn't make sense for me to white balance for that sink. So, I'm going to white balance for his uniform, right? Give that a little push. A little bit better, I think. And now we can kind of focus the audience's attention maybe on whatever is in his hand right here, right? We can go here, and then I can just kind of bring that spotlight down. And then if I want to add a little bit more oomph or pizzazz or spice, bring that up. Bring up some spice. I like that. I don't know what you all think. So this one, we'll got to bring in our node tree. Okay, so here we're going to bring up the luma. Definitely need some luminosity. Oh, you know what? That's the other thing. Be really careful on what group you're playing with, because here you'll notice I have an external desert lab and an internal desert lab. And also I believe this is actually tied to the same group, and you can just right click on it and see. And yeah, so here you see that, see how this is too dark and this is just fine. The luma on that is just fine. I don't want to go in here into the pre-group and start messing with that. And that actually caught me. I was screwing around with a group later on in my timeline, not realizing I had assigned it to group other clips that were part of that group in near the beginning of the timeline. So be really careful on what pre-groups you're messing with. Make sure that, if you think you're on a completely different scene and it's its own unique group, just verify it. Just make sure. Because definitely those other shots are part of it. So I can't mess with this pre-group. So you all saw me kind of switch to it. I'm going to stay out of that pre-group. I'm just going to be sort of messing around in here, right? All right, let me see. Bring in more luma. Some color balance. Okay. What do you all think about that new node idea? Should I add a temp or tint node? Kind of feeling it. I'm kind of feeling it. I think I kind of want to do it. All right, so for Mac, it's going to be just option S. Create a new corrector. Serial node. Oh, here. And then go temp. Yeah, I kind of like that, everybody. Let's delete this one. So we can delete that old clip, that old power grade, and then right click and say grab still. And we're off to the races. Okay. So let's bring that luma back in. And our balance. check my scopes. And bring in some contrast. Check our scopes. Hold on, bring that back. Okay. Then if we want to, we can kind of warm it up because it feels a little cold. And then we can bring in either we could add some DCTL and bring up those reds if we want. And then we can start messing with our spotlights. You can see like everything else is really starting to pop, especially that sky. And then again, I like to kind of just really make our grounds pretty crunchy. Bring in some midpoint detail. Bring our exposure down. Really just kind of darken it up and just make it just really dirty, grungy. Right. So I don't know about you, but that feels pretty good. I don't know what you all think. Again, a little goes a long way. All right, let's check on all of you. See how you're all doing. Any questions, comments? Tony, good to see you. Hey, Jay, thanks. Having a great day. Cool, no questions. Everyone just having a good time? Just chilling? Hanging out? All right. All right, so yeah, I don't know about all you, but I feel good about these shots so far. We're on our new node tree, which is great. Go to a previous clip. Yeah, I think we all did a really good job. Hopefully all of you feel good about the work we did. This feels good. Everything feels pretty shot matched. Right? So we can move on to the next one. Now, again, it's surprising to me how few people actually leverage or use the Lightbox or even know what it does, but I really can't live without it. I love the Lightbox. It's a great way to just go in there and quickly see how your shot matches are going. Right? We can immediately look up there and see that those two shots are pretty well matched up. Same. Okay. So now we can go here. Maybe start with that same grade. reset that. Reset that. Maybe reset that. Maybe turn that off. Reset that. Okay, so we can go in here again and just sort of adjust our loom. Balance. Okay. Man, how can anyone not like red vines? Seriously. All right. Bring in some contrast. What do you all think? Bring in some temperature. Make it a little bit more warm. Different angles, so probably not the best for me to choose between, but turn on this DCTL if we want. Bring a little red in. Don't have to go too crazy with it. Bring in our spotlight. Man, what is up with this? This has to be a bug. So weird. All right. Well, if you think we made this shot a little too warm, we can bring it back. Oh, did I? Oh, you know what? I did tint instead of temp. Okay. So we didn't really. We did about 130 on this one. Again, it's a different angle, so it still feels a little bit more yellow. Let me see my scopes. What's going on here? Yeah, a little off. A little on the yellow side, right? So weird not working with my mini panel. Let me yeah, like that. A little better. That's a little better. I don't want to go too warm. There's definitely like You can see definitely more blue sky on this side in that clip than here. So I mean, it's not, again, because these are two completely different angles, it's not the easiest to kind of shot match with. But since we're going from this shot, right, to this shot, you still want it as close as possible. And I guess probably the best thing to do is kind of look at the similarities between the two, right? So I can, like, there's a, this is smack in the face of the viewer, right? The dirt. So maybe, maybe we look at the dirt for a match, the camper. So, all right. We could go for, oops, look at our spotlight. Jeez, man, that is so annoying. If you felt like you kind of pushed it down a little too much, you can always bring it back. Bring a little more light into our subjects, our talent. Maybe bring that down a little. Feels pretty good. You all want to make that ground a little dingier? You can do that. And bring that exposure down. Bring in some mid-tone detail. Oh, already there. One step ahead of myself. Okay. Okay, same shot, so we could just steal that grade. Inside the drug lab. Okay, you need to ask ourselves if there's anything we want to do with the luma or balance. Again, if we want to, we can always kind of get maybe some ideas from Breaking Bad. There was they had a meth lab in the desert, and they were inside a camper. So we go in here and we can say, no, use camper. Camper one. Yeah, yeah. So here we got this shot of him inside the camper. Right, so maybe, clearly it's pretty dark in there. We can maybe we should bring the luma down for some inspiration from Breaking Bad. Kind of bring that down a bit. White balance this. Scopes. Pretty good. Like that. Bring a little exposure and affect our power window. Give them a little bit more light. or what's in our power window. I think balance is okay because we use this shot to color balance it. If we want, we can bring in some more contrast. HSV sat or DCTL. DCTL, maybe what do you all think? Bring in some of that red, maybe? Increase the sat on the red. And maybe the yellow in that on that handle. Now again, we don't have to go crazy with it, especially we're introducing yellow over here. So I feel like, let's not go nuts. You can use a power window, but yeah. All right. Okay, so we can go ahead and go on to spotlight now. See how that's doing. See where the spotlight, see where our power window is sitting, and then bring down our exposure. Really just kind of zoom in on them. Okay. This shot feels like it's a little too dark. I think maybe we bring it up a little. Okay. I feel like it's pretty well balanced. Bring in some contrast. There isn't really any. I mean, I guess we could bring in some of that green, maybe. Sure. What the hell? That's probably pretty much it. I don't know, I guess we could bring in some reds if we want, but I don't know. I kind of like that, like that. Just bring in a little green from here. And then our spotlight. All right. Probably just steal from this grade. Same. I'm gonna take from this. This balance seems off. Yeah. A little too yellow. Yeah, that looks good, right, everybody? Probably a little too, probably a little too bright. Bring that down. Maybe bring in a little bit more green. There we go. All right. I think we already did contrast. Do you think there's any colors you wanna add some saturation to? Oh, look at that. See that that DCTO was throwing off our reds. Yeah, don't get caught by that, everybody. Oops, reset that. Don't let that catch you. Make sure you don't have anything on over here, making any adjustments to your thing, your thing, your balance. All right, so it still looks pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm liking it. I feel good about it. All right, now let's go back to that. So, I'd probably, like I said, probably bring in some green. Now, if you wanted to, you could come in here and again, you could do kind of like this global sort of sat boost. Why does it keep doing that? Do you see that? For some reason, it keeps unchecking that. Let's try that again. There we go. So again, we could do that or just do it with our DCTLs. I'm again, I've been on the DCTL Kool-Aid lately, so now we can go ahead and bring down our focus. Go there. There. Go there. Remember, don't, be the guardian of your time. Work smart, not hard. If you've already done all the coverage, you don't have to keep doing every individual scene. Just copy paste. Right click, apply grade. Feels a little too dark. And there we go. All right, I think we're pretty much done. Yeah, all the rest are our new trees. So we did it. We've replaced all of the trees. So we're now ready to just kind of look at this and see if there's anything we want to change. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute this. Oh, hold on one second, because I'm gonna need to touch. So in my color suite, for those of you who haven't seen the here, let me do this. Sorry. All right, so for those of you who haven't seen the walkthrough video of my color suite, I have a DTS 5.1 setup in here because we do have releases at AMC movie theaters. We've had 5 premieres so far. I'm sorry, 5? 3. I can't remember. I think, yeah, I think 5 premieres total at AMC theaters. So I'm trying to replicate the movie theater as much as I can in this color suite. So what I do is I have an Extreme 3, an Ultra Studio 4K Extreme 3 that that's grabbing my video signal and the sound is actually exporting to desktop video. So oh yeah, for AMC premieres. Thanks, Mel. So you'll see here. Let me see. Where's my screen? If I go to video and audio, I right now it's set to system audio. and system audio, I think is set to my Mac Studio. So you can go in here, go to desktop video, and what it's going to do now is the 4K Extreme 3 is going to send my video to the DTS 5.1 setup. Okay, so now if I save, unfortunately, you do have to restart DaVinci when you do that. But now all of my audio will go to my DTS 5.1 setup. All right. Sorry about that mirror effect, everyone. All right. Dark Ops, EP5. Get some candlelight ambiance going on in here. All right. Okay, so now I do have the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor keyboard, the DaVinci Resolve Editor keyboard. And what is nice about it is it does actually have the jog wheel. So I'm gonna actually jog through this and look for anything that we need to fix on the edit side because of my previous corrector nodes, adjustment nodes that I had on there to reframe everything. So now our sound should be going through DTS 5.1. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely going through our 5.1 setup now. All right. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use my jog wheel, and I don't have to sit here and spend an hour watching this. I can just go through here and use my jog wheel and just check all of our stuff. Make sure everything is properly framed. Make sure that there isn't any changes that we made that I don't like. This is a great scene right here. I really love how this turned out. It's cool that we all kind of graded this together. You all kind of sat in here in the color suite with me and we graded this together. So feel proud of that. We all worked on this. Looking good so far. Now I didn't use DCTLs. If all of you remember, I didn't use DCTLs on her dress. I ended up using just the qualifiers, which is fine. Remember how I'm telling you, there's always more than one way to do something in DaVinci. Feeling good about this. This is our shootout. Oh my God, you guys, it took me so many hours to do this shootout scene, and the VFX on it is crazy. All right. Okay, I don't know what is up with this, but do you see that those black bars appearing, everybody? All right, I'm not seeing it now. Oh, no, did you see that? See that? That started appearing with the DCTL. And I don't know if I need to, I'm going to try reaching out to Stefan and find out what's going on. But when I pushed the magenta saturation on her jacket, those bars started to appear. I don't know what the deal is. Let me see. Let me try adjusting it. See what happens. Remember, like I modified it and then they went away. See that? And when I rendered it, for those of you who are like, Alyssa, it's just going to happen on display. You don't have to worry about it. When I rendered it, those bars appeared. So I don't know if it's a bug in the DCTL or DaVinci, but did you see that? Now they've gone away. Do you guys see that? I'm not going crazy. You're my witnesses. I'm not going crazy. Those black bars were there, and you see when I modified the DCTL, the black bars disappeared. So you're my witnesses if Stefan thinks I'm crazy. But they're gone now. I don't know what the deal is. All right, whatever. Okay, as long as they're gone, I don't care. All right. This is a good scene too. I like that. Brought down the window. Window got some good. We were able to recover good detail, good information in that window. So far, framing looks good. I think we're pretty much there, folks. We're ready to export this baby. This is also a good way if something is like off and you've got a bigger black bar at the bottom on your timeline. Oh, for those of you, I've gotten this question before. How did I create those? Timeline, output blanking, 2.35. We've had some community members that actually used to use a generator for a black box and then expand it all the way on both sides. You can introduce a lot of issues with that, like something being off, the top being bigger than the other. Just use output blanking. Timeline, output blanking, 2.35. Now, this is something for those of you who do actually go distribution through movie theaters. You have to remove output blanking when you're exporting for projectors. You cannot have output blanking on, and that actually got us several times, and I couldn't figure out why we weren't able to get a perfect, even though we had the dimensions correctly provided by the movie theater for the projector. It was because of output blanking. You cannot have them on if you guys are going to submit to a theater. In what color space are you working when applying the DCTL? Oh, my color space is Rec 709. I did get good question you. So I have had several people ask if I work in ACES. I'll switch between Rec 709 and ACES. The reason why I stopped working in ACES is there was a bug in the previous version of ACES where if you had anything like in several of the club scenes that we did in previous episodes, we had there were purple bulbs in the lamps in the club, and there was a bug in ACES that caused that to break apart. So if you had like any kind of neon bulb or anything that was heavily saturated, ACES broke it and it would break the image. So in order to deal with that, I basically just, instead of making the tweaks to ACES that you need to make, I just switched to the DaVinci Wide Gamut Rec 709 Intermediate. So that's just in case you missed that. Here's my project settings. So in color management, I'm in color manage, Wide Gamut, Intermediate, Rec 709. Everything looks good. I'm liking the framing. I'm telling you, everybody, this DaVinci Resolve Editor keyboard is expensive, but it's worth every penny. Telling you. I love this so much more than the Speed Editor. Look how smooth this is. I love this jog wheel. And then you can change to scroll. And then there's shuttle. This is scroll. It's a little faster. Actually, I kind of like that. I think we should stay in. Oh, I don't want to miss something though. Let's go to jog. What do you all think about the framing? You like the framing? Pretty good. Rule of thirds, baby. Keep those eyes on the horizon. feeling good. This is looking good. I really love this new grade. It's, to me, what I should have released it originally with, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh, look at this red. Look how beautiful that red is. Now we could take the density down on this, right? You heard Darren talking a little bit about that today. So, we brought the SAT up on that. I'm sorry, the density. So you saw how, I don't know if you can see that, but we brought that density down and it's just a deeper red. Absolutely love that red. Love it, love it, love it. Definitely more filmic looking. Oh, it's beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay. I don't know if I did this on the episode with all of you, but I ended up regrading this dinner scene. Did a lot of relighting. Oh, so beautiful. Okay, FBI Hoover building. We introduced Haley Cross. All right. Checking the framing. Everything looks good so far. I think one of these I didn't like where Adrian was framed. Let's see. Good. The senators come in. Oh, I did do some skin tweaks on her. So I did some skin smoothing and I removed some bags under her eyes. I only do that on women. I don't do that on the men, obviously. Yeah, this looks great. It's good here. Liking this. Now, originally, I did a power window on him, and then I flipped to her when she was framed, and I thought that it looked just a little too synthetic, a little too fake. Again, as colorists, we want to make sure everything looks as natural as possible, and you just wouldn't see that on set, so I removed it. What I did was I extended the power window to both of them. So there's a power window pretty much going across both him and Haley. You know what, everyone? I don't think I did a skin smooth on her. And I know some of you may be interested in that. Let me see. Spotlight. So you'll notice in the new version of my node tree, I have a skin. Oh, I did do it. Actually, yay me. Okay, so yeah, so I did do skin smoothing on her. So I used face refinement. I just, used smoothing. And then I did eye retouching. I added some sharpness to her eyes. And then I brightened it up a bit. And then highlight and then eye bag removal. So yeah, I guess I did do that. Cool. Thought I forgot to do that. Okay. Back at Hoover. Let me look at the framing on that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. How's everyone doing? Everyone okay? No comments, no questions? Okay. Flipping through some records. I'm okay with the framing here. Wait a minute. She feels a little too high. Let's fix that. There we go. A little too high. Too high. Again, you want to kind of put her on that third line, that horizon line. He feels a little too high as well. I'm gonna bring him down. Did she seem too high? She seems a little too high, doesn't she? I feel like we should move her down. All right, so she's cut off like right there. That's still a lot better than before. Same thing here. I have to be careful what I say because my DP's producing right now. All right. Actually, I think that shot was Julio, wasn't it, Mel? I think that was Julio. All right. That looks good. Looks good. Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Alyssa making a cameo as a colonel. All right. So, yeah, that was an interesting filming day. All right, so everyone's getting ready for the raid. We have the helicopter scene. This was kind of badass. This was a lot of fun shooting this helicopter scene. Loved shooting this scene. This was a lot of fun. I did all the VFX on this too. All right. And then you start a helicopter with a saw machine gun. That is a real saw machine gun, folks. You know what? Did we grab... Let's grab the same grade from the beginning because that's the same exact B-roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to right click and say apply grade. There we go. Consistency, everyone. Consistency is the key. See, with this this jog wheel, we don't have to sit here and spend an hour actually watching it. We can just scroll right through it, make sure we got everything. Oh, jeez. Siri is thinking I'm talking to her. Sorry about that. Good scene. Oh, was that off frame? What is that? Oh no. Is he too high? Should I lower him? He feels too high. Let's lower him. I want to see his eyes. Good shot. Great hero. Oh, this was one of my favorite stills. I love that still. That's great. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna screenshot that for IMDb. That's a great shot, man. All right. What's that? Okay. The interrogation scene. This scene is, oh, this is butter too. Oh, that's so good. So good. That was actually, you know what? I have to give full credit to Mel on that shot. That was totally her shot. She did such a great job on that one. I use the DC teal to bring up the blues on this, everybody, as well as the yellows. Do we have a power window on that? Yeah, we do. Oh. I feel like it could be better. Oh. Yeah, we lost the cache on that because we the color cache on that because we regraded it. That's okay. Being arrested, just going off to jail, and we're in our final scene. That's a great shot too, right there. It's got such a beautiful smile. All right, that's it, everyone. We did it. We color graded China White together. Great job, everyone. So all we're going to do now is we're just going to go here. I'm going to actually export it for Vimeo 2160. Oh, cancel. I'm going to go to, oh, is it thing? What's going on? Oh, sorry. What is going on? Where's clip filter? Oh, I have a clip filter on. That's why I wasn't seeing it. Clear filter. There we go. I don't know how I enabled that. That's weird. Have you any of you used clip filter before? Oh, you know what it was? Oh, I know what that was from. So you can actually put in a clip filter on your Lightbox. So right now I have graded clips, and then you can go to all clips. I believe that's your clip filter. Yep. All right, so we're gonna go to Vimeo 2160, and then I'm going to China White Final Cut 2. 38, 40, 2160. Everything looks good on the render settings. I'll do a DCP video for those of you who distribute to movie theaters, and that way you have the DCP settings for exporting DCP. Let's see, do you have much wiggle room to try? Yeah, I think that was on a previous clip. That was that. How long ago did you say? Like 8 minutes ago? Yeah. So I think that's the clip we ended up changing. Steven mentioned on his page for effective results, the DCTL should be placed in the node tree after the log to rec 709 conversion. These, yep. Yep, agreed. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm working color manage, so it's being converted to rec 709 before it hits those DCTLs, so we're good. Richard coming in from LinkedIn. Yes. We do have a YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is Nightlight Show. So it's youtube.com/@Nightlight Show, KNIGHTLIGHTSHOW. That's the YouTube channel. Good to see people coming in from LinkedIn. Oh, Tony, thanks for the compliments. Awesome. Well, all right. I guess that's it for this episode of Nightlight. Hopefully all of you get a lot of value out of these live streams. If you haven't yet, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and continue the conversation in the comment thread. You'll all notice that I definitely respond to comments, and sometimes within the minute, sometimes within the hour, but I am on top of comments. So definitely let's continue the conversation in the comment thread. Now, the next video is going to be super exciting. We will be starting over from scratch on Puppet Master. So for those of you who film multicam, okay, I didn't mention this in the beginning. I should mention this. I want to continue to reiterate this. What is different about Nightlight, this YouTube channel, is that It's designed around scripted narrative filmmakers. So for those of you who are specifically color grade, edit, and film scripted narratives, that's TV shows, movies, those are all narrative. That's all narrative work. This channel is for you because those are the gear reviews we do. That's the post production we do. Everything we do is centered around scripted narrative filmmaking. Here at Night Studios, we've produced now 8 TV series. We've got 3 in pre-production, 5 that have been produced. So as I mentioned before, we are going to be going through the color grading and editing of all of those TV series, and I'm going to be doing it with all of you. So, we use multicam. So we have our A cam as an Arri Alexa Mini LF. Our B cam is a Red V Raptor. And we have 2 Komodos, as well as we shoot with some DJI stuff like the Ronin 4D. So if you are specifically working in or want to work in scripted narrative filmmaking, this is a great channel for you because this is where I focus the education on this channel. So thank you so much for joining us today. I know these live streams are long. If you can't sit through the whole thing, hopefully you can catch up with it later. But thank you for your support and being a part of this community. If you haven't yet, sign up for the Night Studios Insider program at nightstudios.com. You can join the Insider Forum, and that's where you can download my latest node trees and participate in ongoing conversation. So thank you, everyone. Until we see each other again, take care of yourselves and each other.